Welcome back to TrendDesk Network. Over the past week, we've been closely tracking every development surrounding the dramatic capture of Nicolás Maduro, from the U.S. operation that brought him into custody to the political shockwaves spreading across Venezuela and the wider region. Today, we're taking you deeper. This is our most updated, comprehensive analysis of what's happening inside Venezuela right now, how the economy is reacting, and what this moment means for global politics. Venezuela is entering one of the most uncertain moments in its modern history. Just days after the dramatic U.S. operation that captured Nicolás Maduro, the country is facing political confusion, economic instability, and a power vacuum that is already reshaping the region. Today, we break down what really happened, who is now in charge, how the economy is reacting, and what the world can expect next. This is TrendDesk Network, and this is your in-depth analysis. According to multiple reports, including the Council on Foreign Relations, U.S. forces carried out an early morning operation on January 3rd that led to the capture of Nicolás Maduro and his wife. The raid was fast, coordinated, and executed without prior notification to Congress, with U.S. officials later describing it as a law enforcement action tied to long-standing drug trafficking and corruption charges. Maduro was quickly transported to New York, where he appeared in federal court and pleaded not guilty to narco-terrorism and weapons charges. He now faces the possibility of a life sentence. His capture immediately triggered political shockwaves across Latin America. Inside Venezuela, the immediate question became, who is running the country? The Supreme Court ordered Vice President Delcy Rodríguez to assume presidential powers as interim leader. Rodríguez, long known as one of Maduro's most loyal allies, now finds herself at the center of a political storm. Her appointment is controversial. While she insists Maduro remains the legitimate president, her statements contradict the U.S. position, which recognizes her as the acting head of state. This duality has created a constitutional gray zone, one that could shape Venezuela's political future for years. Economically, Venezuela is entering dangerous territory. Al Jazeera reports that the country's economy has plunged into uncertainty following Maduro's abduction. Nearly 80% of the national budget was allocated to social spending, and without Maduro's centralized control, many of these programs are now at risk. The biggest question is oil. The U.S. has stated it will control Venezuelan oil sales indefinitely. This means Caracas may not receive revenue from its own exports, leaving the government with limited cash flow and millions of citizens vulnerable to shortages. Analysts warn that unless sanctions are eased or new agreements are reached, Venezuela could face its most severe economic contraction since the 2010s. The effects of Maduro's capture extend far beyond Venezuela's borders. International Business Times reports that Cuba is already feeling the shock, with President Trump declaring the island ready to fall after losing its subsidized Venezuelan oil lifeline. For decades, Cuba relied heavily on Venezuelan crude to keep its economy afloat. With that supply cut off, Havana faces a deepening crisis. Across Latin America, governments are split. Some see Maduro's removal as a chance for democratic transition. Others view it as a dangerous precedent for foreign intervention. The region is now entering a period of political recalibration. The financial world has also responded dramatically. According to The Conversation, markets saw a surge in speculation following Maduro's capture, with investors betting on potential regime change and shifts in oil policy. Even cryptocurrency markets reacted, with reports suggesting that President Trump's crypto-related holdings increased significantly after the raid. Meanwhile, Fox News reports that energy experts believe reviving Venezuela's oil industry could strengthen U.S. energy dominance while weakening China's influence in the Western Hemisphere. But analysts caution that sanctions relief is far from guaranteed. Venezuela's future now hinges on several key questions. First, will Delcy Rodríguez consolidate power, or will internal factions challenge her authority? Second, will the U.S. ease sanctions to stabilize the economy or tighten control over oil revenues? Third, how will the Venezuelan military respond? Their loyalty has historically determined political outcomes. Fourth, will international actors, including China, Russia, and regional allies, intervene diplomatically or economically? Experts from the Council on Foreign Relations warn that Venezuela's path forward is deeply uncertain. The country could move toward transition, deeper instability, or prolonged external control. Maduro's capture marks a turning point not just for Venezuela, but for the entire region. The political vacuum, economic uncertainty, and shifting alliances will shape Latin America's future for years to come. If you want to stay ahead of the story, check out our earlier coverage and the shorts linked in the description. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more global analysis.